An important consideration when deciding which of these opinions I ultimately aligned myself with were my own life experiences. A couple of these experiences I actually talked about in speech one. It was the instance where my friend Alex fell off the jungle gym, and the other was when my family was watching Mulan together. Both of these instances, so in the first one, Alex was hurt, but I was urged to believe that I had done the exact right thing because I had just listened, and that everything was great because I had done that. I obviously, clearly, everything wasn't right. My friend was hurt ultimately, and in the other example, Mulan, the concept that everything that Mulan had done after she had decided not to listen to authority was wrong because she had not listened to authority seemed very controversial. Not It didn't click with me because it seemed like a lot of good things had happened. It wasn't a simple binary that she was in the right or she was in the wrong simply because of this one decision. And so ultimately, these two instances, it was well intentioned, but I ultimately undermined my. It was ultimately undermined my discovery and realization of the actual truth that there was more to each situation than simply did they listen or not. Even more dangerous, when the consequences for me following their instruction were negative, like when I listened to the man at the baseball game. My doubts were amplified. And fortunately, my father, like I said earlier, addressed the nature of approaching things from a critical perspective. But the delay in promoting that message, and likely because they reasoned that I was too young to understand it, caused unnecessary apprehension within me. And so both of these things interact together and help inform my opinion on this thing. And so ultimately, I've come to this conclusion. When it comes to parenting, effective practice is just as much modeling a beneficial lifestyle as it is instructing children to act a certain way. When parents intentionally mislead their children, such as Dr. Drexler advocates for, or they conceal the reality of difficult situations like Drs. Gilboa and Gadia Smith advocate, they risk a lot more than they ultimately hope to gain. As my experience is hopefully exemplified, children at young ages are far more perceptive regarding the multifaceted morality of certain situations, and attempting to delay their inevitable discovery of the truth is very likely to cause unnecessary distrust that can harm the child's development more than it can help it. Ultimately, using strong discernment regarding how to tell the truth in the most effective, honest way possible while respecting the maturity level of the child, it not only enlightens the child, but it models a pattern of thinking critically and empathetically that children would do well to follow in their own lives. I think if the intention of the parent is to protect the child from unnecessary harm, then why delay their exposure of the truth to an uncontrolled situation that will likely negatively impact the parent-child relationship and expose the child to that same truth that their parent avoided in the first place? I advocate, much like Dr. Roberts, that the parents empower their children to address situations critically with a well-reasoned and realistic view of the world. My own experience doesn't mirror this approach perfectly, but after research, I can confidently say that I wish it would have. I think if parents want their children to just listen, then I advocate that they give them an understanding to know what they really ought to be listening for.